Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Here today, I'm going to be covering the Howard the Duck Champion Spotlight. So as you can see, Howard the Duck is not going to be trash anymore. So, it's his buff, and I'll just be reading off the Champion Spotlight to you guys. So the strengths of Howard the Duck after his buff will be he'll have anti-heal, so he'll have heal block application readily available, and his SP1 allows Howard to shut down healers. Armor break. Easily handle armor up champions with just a few heavy attacks. So it seems like he's gonna get armor breaks on his heavy attacks. Long fights. The longer the fight, the more time to build up your fury and armor breaks. Howard can amass tons of damage in extended bouts, so he's probably gonna still have his fury. Weakness, Mystic Champions. Plenty of buffs means plenty of power for Mystic Champions. Be careful not to eat a special 3. Which is interesting. I think what they mean by that is he'll have, because of his animations, he gives off a lot of power. Debuff Shrug. Howard can get a lot of utility and bonus from his debuffs. Champions with purify abilities will be a bane to our feather friend. So they're talking about his SP2. Anyways. Abilities. Always active. The bulky isoloader suit provides immunity to bleed effects, so he has utility. Howard's personal buffs and debuffs such each expire one at a time. Well, that's great. The key to Howard's new kit is paying attention to how his abilities fall off. Now, all of his abilities fall off at one at a time, means stacking his effects makes them more important. It also effectively increases the duration of each of his effects. Okay. Button Masher Extraordinaire. Rapidly pressing the block button at different times of the fight grants Howard's special MASH bonuses. Each MASH bonus requires more presses of the block button than the last within the same window. Interesting. So, seems like Civil Warrior-esque. You'll just have to be blocking most of the game. In the pre-fight menu, Howard the Duck can activate the Auto Masher, which lasts for the duration of the fight. While Auto Masher is active, all MASH bonuses will be handled automatically for Howard. While fighting as a defender, Auto Masher is always active. Okay. Before the fight starts, Howard gains 1 indefinite dormant armor. MASH. Gain additional dormant armors. When the fight starts, each dormant armor is converted into an indefinite armor buff, increasing armor up rating by 259. So it's just going to be the same with the 8 armor ups, most probably. When either of the champion is stunned, 100% chance to gain a fury buff, increasing attack rating by 235.8 for 10 seconds. Max attack 50. Okay, so with this, it's probably going to be parry stun, and since every single one of his buffs and debuffs fall off one at a time, most probably you're just going to want to parry them repeatedly and keep building up the fury. More mash equals more damage. Heavy attack, 100% chance to inflict an armor up break debuff, removing an armor up buff and reducing armor rating by 76.17 for 5 seconds. Max stacks 10. Mash. Additional hits can inflict additional armor break debuffs. So he's probably going to inflict armor break debuff for each of his hits in his 5-hit combo on his heavy attack. So it doesn't seem that potent, so I don't think it'll be actually useful. It'll probably just be useful against tech champions that have armor buffs. Special one, unarmed attack. 100% chance to inflict 2 heal block debuffs lasting 2.5 seconds each match. So all of his debuffs, they drop off one at a time. So in total it'll be 5 seconds. Which is interesting. I don't know why it's separated like this. Why not just make it one debuff that lasts for 5 seconds, right? Maybe against Tenacity champions against Vision Arcus and Agent Venom, maybe. Special 2, BFG Surprise. 80% chance to include a suppression debuff, reducing combat power rate by 10% for 4 seconds. MASH. Additional hits can inflict additional suppression debuffs. So each bullet most probably will give us combat power rate, reduce combat power rate by 10%. But that doesn't really matter because you're not going to be letting the opponent hit you. So that's interesting. I don't like that. I would like it if his random range of buffs or debuffs that he put on the opponent was still there, but put at 80%, like his synergy with the Man-Thing. Just get rid of the synergy with Man-Thing and just add that. Specialty Junkyard Smackdown. 100% chance to inflict a 3-second stun, just like Kingpin. If Howard gets a perfect result in the Special 3 minigame. Ooh, so there's gonna be a new type of minigame in the special trees. We already know that if you're a 5-star or above, you have that little thing that goes around, and you have to click it for like 20% extra damage. So there's gonna be a new minigame added to the game. So maybe new champions like Jabari Panther and Silver Centurion might also have this. This stun debuff becomes passive and lasts 4 seconds. So an extra second on a stun debuff will probably get you another. I'll get you another combo in, but that's not that great. Signature ability Quack Fu, always active. If Howard is fighting any fight with a class advantage, he breaks out his legendary Quack Fu to gain the following: critical resistance to equal 40% of Howard's armor rating, base ability accuracy of 115% instead of the normal 100%. That's actually really good. I really like that. Incoming debuffs suffer negative 1.3 seconds duration, which is pretty good for certain. I honestly think that'll be even better as a defensive champion, and it seems like he's gonna become a defensive champion afterwards. Because on his SP2 he reduces combat power rate, and that just doesn't things that are really useful to an attacker. So his synergies. He has friends with She-Hulk, Rocket Raccoon. He gains armor rating. Teammates with Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, Dragon Man, and Man-Thing. He gains perfect block chance. With Nemesis, with MODOK and Psycho Man, he gets attack. We Ain't No Punchline, which is a unique synergy with Gwenpool, Spider-Ham, and Goldpool. Critical hits pauses all personal debuffs for 0.5 seconds. Other champions, they get 20% taunt, incinerate, and bleed duration. So that'll be alright. Yeah, I think that might help with the heal block, because you'll be able to keep the heal block on for a lot longer. New York Brawlers, unique, 4-star and up. With Daredevil's Hell Kitchen, Doctor Strange, Luke Cage, and Spider-Man Stealth Suit, which is a pretty bad set of characters except Luke Cage. Howard the Duck, opponent suffers negative 65% evade ability accuracy, so it'll make him able to attack all evading champions except Miles Morales and Gwenpool. Other champions up to 15% attack rating based on missing health. That's a garbage synergy with the others, but for Howard the Duck, that's a pretty good synergy. Not so uncanny. Unique 4 stars and up. With Gambit, Bishop, Storm, Pyramid X, and Platinum Pool. Howard the Duck, knocking the opponent down, removes all of their prowess effects and grants Howard 1 prowess effect for each effect removed this way. Each increasing special attack by 10% for 10 seconds. So, knocking the opponent down removes... so he just steals prowess debuffs, as far as I am aware. He keeps stealing prowess debuffs. Recommended masteries, Despair. While already supporting a heal block on his SP1, he has an assortment of debuffs that will ensure healing is under control. Call Attack, combined with Howard's SP2 suppress, you can be certain that the opponent's power will be an afterthought. And I honestly don't like this. This is a really, really bad buff, in my opinion. Because he doesn't have much. Look. He has his abilities to gain a lot of fury, and that's really great. And his buffs fall off 1 at a time, which is all really great. But that's more helpful in like a debuff scenario for the debuffs falling off 1 at a time. And that's only useful in tenacity situations. And his personal buffs falling off 1 at a time doesn't really matter if all the buffs are going to be the same. Like, why have 2 fury buffs that'll last for 2.5 seconds when you can have 1 fury buff that'll last for 5 seconds? It really doesn't matter. It doesn't make sense. And it just doesn't make any sense. He gains a little bit of armor, which doesn't matter. Armor was never really useful for an offensive champion. He's immune to bleed, which is great, but bleed, a lot of champions are immune to bleed, and they have way more utility and offensive capability than Howard the Duck. Seems like he won't be hitting that hard. The only thing he has is when he parries. Where was it? When either champion is stunned, 100% chance to get a fury buff that gives him a small increase. And yeah, he can stack a lot of these, so he might hit a lot very hard. Possibly. I'm not sure what's the actual how viable this is. He possibly might hit really hard, but it seems like his special attacks are a complete waste. Because let's see. His heavy attacks, it gives only a small debuff, so in total it'd be like a 760 armor break debuff, which is nothing. Special 1, it gives him a 5-second debuff, which is nothing. 5-second heal block. Special 2 gives him a suppression debuff, which, why would you care about the offensive combat power rate of your opponent when you're not actually trying to get hit by them, you're actually trying to hit them. So defensive combat power rate would have been a lot better, which would make it so when Howard the Duck's hitting at them, they would gain a lot less power. So combat power is just so stupid, and this is just literally being copied off by Kingpin, and just you can play a special mini game to get a second longer in your stun. And the only good thing about it I see this buff is his heal block, which is pretty lackluster, and his furies. His signature ability is only useful if you're on defense. Even coming debuffs suffer 1.3 seconds duration. And in any other node, they're always permanent. There isn't like, oh, you'll get a debuff that lasts 1 second. They're never like that. These are only gonna come in handy when you're putting your Hub the Duck on defense. It seems like he's gonna be a great defensive champion, but it's another dud in my opinion. The buff isn't great. So thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya, guys.